Oh, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the podcast. Rich20Something podcast here with my friend John Crestani. What's going
What's
on,
up,
man?
motherfuckers?
Today we're going to talk about a lot of. We've been chopping it up for like 2 hours now, talking about a bunch of stuff. But you know what I want to talk to you guys about today is internet marketing, which can be kind of weird and like kind of scary. It's just like a scary place, right? The internet marketing world.
Incredibly, yeah, people have incredible amounts of fear going into it. It's an exponent. It's what I call an exponential business. So I could talk about that, but yes, there's
Yeah.
a lot of fear surrounding it.
So I met John because we work at the same co-working space. It's like a shared working space in Santa Monica. I guess I'll tell you guys where it's at. Just don't come and stalk me and kill me and wear my skin. Uh, but, so
That's a little dangerous.
it's a
You
little
have a lot of
dangerous.
you have a lot of fans out there, bro.
I'm scared. Scared. I mean, it's cool. I've been working on my jiu-jitsu. We should be good.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's-
No, but I was at there's like this bar, this coffee bar, right? And I was talking to one of my team members, and you're like, "Oh, wait, you're doing internet stuff? I'm doing internet
Yeah,
stuff."
yeah.
And then we started talking about it, and we have some similar focuses. So I'm curious because I know a little bit about what you do, but can you just give me a brief synopsis as if we're meeting for the first time? Like, who are you? What are you working on right now? And why are you interested? Why are we even talking right now? What's cool?
Sure.
Such
I mean,
a
why
douchebag
are
way
we
to say that.
talking? I mean,
Such a douchebag way to say it.
Why are we even talking?
Yeah, why are we
Like,
talking
what's
about
up?
this, bro?
No, I mean, dude, like, one thing is, I think it's just, first off, like running an internet business and running into other people who are doing kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. And I think there's just a natural, we're outside of the normal scope of reality,
Yep.
most people's reality. And so it's always fun running into other people, first of all. That's why I was just like, hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Did I hear you say like conversion rate, or did I hear you talk about like,
I guess
podcast
your
and
marketing
like,
your marketing rate
yeah,
is up.
weird-
Someone say conversion.
yeah. I'm like, somebody's speaking my language. So, I think that's awesome. And, so that's one reason. And just also, I personally find, one of the most powerful things for me coming up in business has been just, honestly, it's been meeting other people, surrounding myself with other people that think outside the box, that are doing like crazy shit, like, like you're like Bruce Wayne over here.
Oh my God, you're so right.
I'm fucking. We were talking about how his how the problem with having lots of fans on the internet is your girlfriends get jealous. But
She's not gonna watch this.
That's
so
a whole other
She's never
discussion.
She'll never watch it. Sarah, I love you. You're never gonna watch any of my stuff, so it doesn't matter. She just
that's my
humors me.
that's my fiance's name, by the way.
Oh,
too,
yeah?
so it's a little awkward
With
when
an
you say
H?
that.
Oh, sorry. Ugh.
No
With a-
H, no H.
Mine neither. Fuck.
But
Wait, really?
so the other and but what I do in the internet is, on a more serious note, so I run two companies. One company is based around training. So we actually, I sell coaching programs. We get people to subscribe to my email list. We get people to, we do webinars, and we train people. But my main company is an affiliate network, and what we do, what's called affiliate marketing, or partner. It's basically your marketing partners for other companies, and you post up links online, you set up websites, and you sell, we specialize in selling supplements.
Ah.
So what we do is we sell weight
Viagra?
loss products. I don't like to focus on the dick pills we sell, but
They're there. We just don't focus on them.
so, but we focus on a lot of stuff that are supplements, such as weight loss pills, colon cleanses. We sell muscle supplements, and we sell sleep aids, and we sell skin creams. And we
okay.
sell a lot of natural stuff, kind of big markets, and we teach people, what we're doing is we're setting up websites, and we're posting up ads on Facebook and Taboola, Outbrain, and stuff like that. Mainly a lot of Facebook, and we get people to buy them. We tell people why to buy them, and we get people to buy them.
I mean, that's
It's a
that
huge
you're
market.
talking. That's a huge market, and you're kind of talking about the end result. But people looking at this are like, okay, great. John fucking sells. No, he don't sell dick pills, but he sells skin cream online. You know, that's cool. But is there like a practical way? Because we were eating lunch yesterday at the table, and I was like, get into affiliate marketing, like the concept of, because for any of you guys who don't know, affiliate marketing is basically you have a product or a partner has a product, and you essentially, to simplify it, combine forces via email lists, social media, and other ways to sell products, and whoever and there's revenue share involved, right? So like for instance, if I had a list of 100,000 people, and John had a supplement that I thought would be a good fit for my list, I would mail that supplement out to my list, and there'd be a special link wherein I would get credit for those sales, and there'd be a revenue share. Usually it's 50%, depending on.
It's the same thing as a referral fee. It's the same thing as the if you were like an insurance agent or a real estate agent or whatever, you're basically, except instead of talking to people, what you're doing is, if you have an email list, for instance, let's say you have a blog called, Becky's weight loss tips Becky's daily weight loss tips.com, and you send people an email every day with one tip of how they can lose weight.
Right.
One of your daily tips might be, okay, we recommend you do a colon cleanse at least once a month to kind of flush your colon of all of the chemicals and the crap that's in it. And they would post a link to a product that they recommend, and if somebody purchases that product, they would get $50. So obviously, if, let's say you had an email list of 100,000 people, let's say 25% of those people opened it, let's say 10% of people ended up buying, you just made, let's say, sorry, I'm fucking up with the math.
A couple $100,000, something like that.
Yeah, so if 2,000 people bought it times 50, you just made like $100,000 on, for recommending a product. And there are many ways to do that. There's email lists. There's what we do is we put up links on Facebook. So we'll put up links and say, hey, this is an incredible.
They allow affiliate links on Facebook. You put up a link to a landing page.
We put up links to landing pages, right. So like what the affiliates, and what we do is we put up sites like, it'll be like a review blog, like top 10 skincare reviews, or we'll say something like that, or like incredible new weight loss solution discovered, and seven
tricky ways to.
Yeah, and we'll say like new secret, we'll say incredible, one of the headlines we use a lot is incredible transformation, and we'll show like an image of like a ridiculously obese person, and underneath it'll say like incredible transformation. It's like, see how like so and so like lost a shitload of weight.
Yeah.
And or
case studies.
Yeah. Exactly, case studies, and case studies are super powerful. And we'll build a website around a case study of somebody who lost a lot of weight with the product, and then we will link out to the product, and that case study sells the product.
Yeah, no.
So we're just creating a little web page around that case study, and just and when people read that case study, if they click on our link and they read that case study, they're going to be sold on the product.
Yeah, because it proves it works. But I mean, I think how do you even get to the point, like so we're talking now in numbers like, oh well, if you just have an email list of 100,000 people, just mail it out and it will work. But how do you get to the point where you even get into affiliate marketing? Like, how did you get into it? How did you figure out kind of, because I think like online business in general is kind of like Narnia. Once you're in it, you know it's like a different world. You know what's going on. You kind of like see there's magical creatures walking around, and it's easy to like figure out your way. But it's not always easy to get past that threshold. So how did you get into the market, and how would someone just from zero start doing this? It's not easy, is it?
No, I would definitely, it's not easy, and it is freeing though. One of the things, and you're running an internet business as well. And one of the things that I love about internet businesses, and it's not fucking easy, but the truth be told, running a business from the internet is one of the only things that allows you freedom of time and freedom of location. You know, you can do this anytime you want. You know, your material is out there on the internet. People are listening to you. People are listening to old stuff of you right now, and you're not even, and you're not, it's just happening
Yeah.
without people are consuming your material, and you aren't spending any time doing it or we are right now. But the point is, you can be sleeping and there are thousands of people consuming your material, and it's amazing. And also freedom of location. You can be anywhere you want. So I think that, real estate, you have to be physically, I think the other two, the other three major areas that people make money, I would say, is network marketing, real estate, and stocks. But none of those offer freedom of, none of those offer both freedom of time and freedom of location.
Yeah.
Usually it's one or the other or neither. And so it's worth devoting yourself to create an internet business. There's,
How do you break into it though? Like, what's step one?
Here, I'll give you the quick version.
Yeah,
I don't know how much time we have, but I'll give you the quick version. I mean, it started for me. I was in 2009. I was in college and I was just super fucking depressed.
Oh my God,
I didn't,
me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't have any direction. It's like it's that weird thing. It's like I knew I could. I always, I have, I come from my parents have a good network of people, and I'd been, I could easily get into a good corporate job and all that stuff and yada yada. But I saw that path and I knew exactly what I knew exactly what that entailed.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, everybody says that path is not risky. They're like, oh, that's a good proven path.
That's a lie.
But exactly.
It's a lie.
It's not a risk-free path
It's
anymore.
not any
It's
safer
actually,
than it is to do your own thing.
I think it's actually less safe, and you hate yourself in the process. I think, if you're in a corporate, I knew that path. I knew I was going to work my way up the ladder slowly. I was going to have to, brown nose a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Putting
I
it
knew I was
nicely,
going to have
yeah.
to suit up. I knew I wasn't going to be able to have a beard, but I saw that, and it freaked the fucking shit out of me,
Yeah.
dude. It freaked the living daylights out of me, and I thought, dude, I'm going to graduate in a year from now, and I know what the next 15 years of my life are going to be like. I know I'm going to be a millionaire eventually. I've always known I was going to be a millionaire. Always. There was no doubt in my mind. But I mean, I knew it just wasn't going to be on my own terms. It was going to suck. I wasn't going to be myself. And that scared, I think that's what scared me. I was going to have no freedom, and I wasn't going to be myself. And that's what scared me. So I told my parents I was taking a semester abroad, which was actually a lie. I didn't get any course credits for what I ended up doing.
Where did you go?
And I think we talked about this at some point, but I went to Thailand for 7 months.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I got a $5,000 inheritance from one of my grandparents, and I had, my parents, because they thought I was doing a semester abroad, they paid for the course, and they gave me I think at this point I had either a couple $1,000, say two or three on top of the five from my grandpa. I was
It's a lot in Thailand.
it was a lot in Thailand, and my the semester was paid for, but the point was, I was very I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I just went out there and I was just I'm gonna freaking just travel around and just I brought a lot of books along though.
What kind of what books specifically like?
So 4-Hour Work Week.
Oh, that's a good book.
That's where it started for me.
Yeah.
That's where it started for me. And I read this and I thought, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to be like Daniel DiPiazza, and I want to do jujitsu and travel.
To be clear, Tim
cool
Ferriss
places.
wrote that book.
Oh, sorry, Tim Ferriss.
But you know what? The funny thing about that
Did
book
he influence you too?
I mean, I think
Have you read his book?
Of course. I think the thing about that
Yeah.
book is that you don't have. So, if you haven't read this 4 Hour Work Week, go out and buy it. I'll put an affiliate link in the description. But I think the thing about that book is you don't have to do exactly what he says in the book. It's more about a mindset shift. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's more like just opening your mind up to the idea that you don't have to trade time for money, and there are alternate solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
And he was freaked out. He went to Princeton, and he was on he was almost like an exaggerated version, because I applied to UPenn and I never got in, but it was like he was supposedly on the path that I wanted to be on. Real Ivy League. He could have gotten a great corporate job. And he got a great corporate job in San Francisco, in the place I was like, that's the
coveted place.
And he did it, and he came back and he said, it's all bullshit.
Bullshit.
Focus on yourself. And so it's the mindset. And that planted a seed in my brain, and I never, and that's what got me started, and I never stopped.
Yeah, same thing. And I think that the more I've been thinking about this over the past couple of years.
What was it for you, by the way?
Well, for me, I mean, I feel like we were probably like sleepless in Seattle, where we're just like staying up. We must have been at the same time in 2009, just agonizing at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
You were in the same boat.
I could see us being at the same time, thinking the same things. For me, though, what I've realized over the last few years is that I had my turning point too, and I left college, and it was 2009. Mm-hmm. And I was at this crossroads where I'm like, all right, well, I can either go back to school because some of my friends are doing that. Half of my friends are doing that, where they're going to get their master's, doctorate, PhD, right? So I could do more school, but there was nothing I wanted to do enough where I was going to spend another $50,000 to $100,000 to do it. Because besides doctor, lawyer, engineer, there's nothing that you need that for.
Yeah.
The gatekeepers are pretty much crumbled from most of those types of professions. You don't need to go to school unless you really have to do one of those things. So I didn't want to go back to school, so that was out. Didn't want to do the corporate job. That was fucking out. So it left me in all these 9-to-5 jobs. So I worked everything. I worked retail jobs. I worked at UPS with the brown shorts. I worked at a restaurant. That was my last job. And
but what got that seed in you? What made
well,
sorry, I don't mean to be
no.
But because
I mean, what really I remember the point where I was really fed up, and it was I was scooping these butter balls in the back of the kitchen. And my manager was like, "Yo, I don't like the way these balls are shaped. I want you to scoop them all over again."
Jesus
and he
Christ.
took a whole table of 500 took a table of 500 butter balls, and he just basically threw them in the trash.
Oh, way.
And I was like, "Fuck this!" And also that was all free work because I wasn't getting paid for it, since servers only get paid when they serve.
No.
So I was doing it as a courtesy to the restaurant.
Yeah.
And he didn't like the shape of my balls. So I was like,
you didn't like the shape of it.
If this is going to be how it is, I got to figure something else out. So I read the 4 Hour Work Week, and then I started up an SAT test prep company because I'm good at teaching SAT. I started that up, built it into 6 figures, and I was gone. Wow. I was out.
Yeah.
But what I've come to realize over the last few years is that I used to be very an entrepreneur evangelist. Where I'm like, everyone should be an entrepreneur. Now I realize that's not true. For some people, having a job is okay, because there's some people who actually, believe it or not, really like their jobs. They like the fact that they have a job that they go to, and they're actually cool with that. So now my mindset is more like, if you've been feeling like this for a while, if you felt like we feel, or like we felt, then it's time to take those next steps. But I'm not going to try to force anyone's mind to change about their situation.
Well, one of the things, not to go on but one of the things I really like about what you're doing, and kind of the new breed of I feel like there are personalities who are teaching people internet stuff in the past. There's an older generation than us that were more I think it was more about taking value from people. But what I really like about what you're doing is you really work to hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the hardest things of being an entrepreneur is there's nobody to hold you accountable. because you're the boss, and I think that's
Yeah.
one of the hard, like what you're saying, a job is important for a lot of people because there are a lot of people who need that person like physically next to them to hold them accountable, and but I just want to
I
throw
mean,
a side note. Yeah,
I have to admit though, sometimes it's
I think it
nice.
is like I need people. I'm a member of a group called Entrepreneurs Organization,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
and that is my, I need people to hold me accountable, and
yeah,
it's been really hard as an entrepreneur because you need that direction, and you need to surround yourself with the right people to like, yeah. So I call them my board of directors actually,
yeah.
but
It is.
they help
That's
me a
that's one
lot.
of the biggest challenges. Is that like self employment is cool, and I think there's a difference too between self employment and entrepreneurship. Like I think self employment,
How so?
I think self employment was for me when I first got out of the restaurant and figured out how to make money for myself by myself. But then entrepreneurship, I think, is when you start to expand your vision a little bit and start to employ other people and have systems running when you're not
Okay.
there.
I was gonna say systems. Yeah,
Right?
when you have
Because you can
yeah,
leave the job and still be trading time for money,
yeah,
but it's just like you get
it's
more
on your
money
own
on your own
terms.
terms.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And since there's
That's
no
very good
middleman, like
distinction.
when I started doing SAT prep, I was getting $100 an hour because I didn't have a company that was taking that money
Yeah,
from me, but I was still trading time for money.
yeah,
Whereas an entrepreneur, as I think it's about building systems and teams to help you get things
yeah.
done that you just can't do by yourself. So, for instance, we're doing this podcast now, but there are people back at the office that are helping me to do things
Yep,
that I can't do because I'm only one person.
yep.
That's kind of, but I think that like as an entrepreneur in general, it's especially in the beginning, it's very hard to figure out like, okay, what are my priorities today? Like, what should I be doing today? Because I don't have a boss that says, okay, this is what you need to do. This is your task.
Yeah.
So really, you could wake up in the morning and you could sit and you could do anything. Like it,
Or you could do nothing.
or you could do nothing, which also
Awesome.
happens a
Yeah.
lot to me. Like I look at the computer, I'm like, well, what's my main priority today? And so like, how do you hone in? And I want to come back to like how you jump into the affiliate
Sure,
world.
sure,
We'll
sure,
talk
sure,
about
sure,
that.
sure,
But
sure.
how do you hone in on what you should be doing for the day? Like, because I see you at your computer, you have like this, like these, like you have like
Yeah.
at least two monitors. You're zoned in with your headset. You look almost catatonic. So like, I think something's getting done. But how do you choose your priorities for the day?
Ugh. Dude, it's
Do you get sucked into the Reddit, Facebook thing like I do?
my business. So first of all, I actually don't. So I'm at the point in my business. I have other people managing my Facebook ad accounts and
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
Like I'm not. So I am just, what I do is I just look at like my media buyers or my affiliates. Like I go into their accounts and look at their stuff. I don't actually have a Facebook
Oh,
anymore. Yeah.
must be freeing.
Yeah. It
You
actually
don't have a personal Facebook?
no.
Wow.
It actually wasn't by choice.
You're a
But
rogue.
yeah, I've gone through. I've gone. I've had like over 600 Facebook accounts this year.
What?
But
I don't even want to know. We'll just glaze over
skim
that.
over that. How do I decide what I do? I call myself the chief. You know what? Like I fill out lead forms on people's sites. And I'm like, it's like, what's your position? I call myself the chief squeaky wheel fixer. That's actually a title I've given myself. Chief squeaky.
CF. So wait, CSWF.
Yeah,
CSWF.
CSWF. Yeah, so that's what I call myself. I mean, I have 8 employees right now. I have support, sales, biz dev, development, and I mean there's always something that needs to be I'm always focused on what it, and I do marketing, so I manage my own company's marketing and stuff. And then I just brought on somebody who's going to do like events for me. I'm giving him a piece. We're starting our own, I'm giving him a piece of the business. But I focus on what's the squeaky wheel. So basically my business is, but I'm in a different place than most of the people that are going to be listening to this are. So we've been doing 6 figures for a little while now. And, so my business is up and functioning. I have people in every key area that I need them. But so I'm always focused if there are a lot of questions on support, or my media buyers or my affiliates are having lots of issues with certain things, I have to focus on that. And I have to focus on, training or jumping in there and creating systems and organizing. Usually I'm creating training videos and I'm showing, okay, this is how we're creating, let's say Facebook. Here's a good example. Facebook doesn't like, there's certain, Facebook has been changing their rules about advertising. They don't like before and after pictures, and they don't like, they don't like sensationalistic claims in your advertising. So if you say something like incredible transformation, see how Becky lost 22 pounds in 2 hours and 30 minutes, that's, they used to be fine with that and we made a lot of money, but now, people are like, that's not working. And, so I have to jump in and I have to say, okay, this is what you do, and I'll say, like, you have to write really long copy. You have to focus on, Facebook wants stories now. They don't want thin. They want you to add, if you're going to put an ad on their network, they want you to add value. They want you to add value. The way you add value is you put stories and you insert videos.
Yeah.
If you're going to advertise on Facebook, I recommend 500 to 1,000 words and use a video. That's adding value. So Facebook will say, this is a good ad for art, because they make so much money. They can disapprove whatever they want.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care. They don't need your money. It's crazy to think that. But and then if the business development side is lacking, I focus on that. If my marketing funnel is not working, I focus on that, so
it sounds like it's kind of like the classic working on the business rather than in the business. Because I think what happens is, and this is going to happen to a lot of us as we start to like develop our ideas, or we get a little bit of momentum. And then what happens is, especially with internet business, and I know I've experienced this even pretty recently, where we start to grow and you move from this hustler to the CEO mentality. So for me, what happened was, I started to grow, my email list started to grow, my social media following started to grow, started to make more money. And so I had all these inbound requests for my attention. All these things need to be handled, just from basic website stuff to like customer support to building this training videos. And I was still stuck doing these things myself. I'm like, whoa, I can't do all this stuff myself.
You need a help desk, you need a CRM, etc.
So I hired people and I developed systems, and now it's my job to like make sure all those systems are running. Just like, think about it like from the 40,000 foot view, looking down at the forest and be like, okay, there's a little fire there. Let's put that one out. Let's put that one out. And then maybe one day we level up where we have managers doing that, and we just manage the managers.
Yep. Exactly.
So like
meta.
They're different levels, and then you get to the Richard Branson level where he manages CEOs. He has different CEOs for all his different companies, and he's just the one dude at the fucking top who's like, yeah, this company, like, he'll have one CEO managing his Virgin Airlines, and that CEO has managers and executives under him, and all of them have employees.
So here's actually how I manage my time. So, first of all, I try to do like, generally my day, this is what happens, is 80% of my day is spent running the business. So it's stuff like answering emails, and if you're running an internet business, it's the stuff like creating a website, working on the marketing, answering Skype messages, working with partners, doing all this, answering emails and Skype messages are two of my biggest things.
Not the sexiest stuff you'd think.
Not the sexy stuff. And then I always make sure I focus at least 20% of my day on creating systems that are going to reduce all of the stuff I did in the 80%.
Oh, interesting.
So, for instance, a concrete example of what that might be is, if I have a lot of people asking me questions, I'll say, okay, why are they asking me questions? And I'm actually very organized. I have an Excel sheet. Every question somebody asks me throughout, this is kind of neurotic. Every single question somebody asks me throughout the day or the week is in an Excel file. And what I do is I take those and I lump them in, and I look at all the questions and they tell a story, and I'll say, okay, let's say it's 100 questions. I'll say, okay, how can I take these down to 5 or 10 questions? What 5 or 10 questions are 80%? And then I'll like shoot a video around those or something. And or I'll create like a Zendesk help desk.
Right.
So in the future, if anybody asks me those questions, instead of answering them, I just post a link. Or I find a way that people don't hit me up on Skype or, on like different forums and group chats, and I make sure that they automatically get that.
Yeah.
So I'm finding systems to kind of make sure people are getting the information they need, in a way they can respect it, like a video. So I don't have to do it in the future. So I'm just constantly taking what I'm doing, what I was doing a month ago, 80% of what I'm doing, I don't do anymore.
That's perfect. And guys, one thing to think about is as you're doing work, especially when you're starting and you're building your business and it's growing, you start to get a little bit of momentum. You'll realize that like a lot of the things you do on a daily basis are repetitive tasks that are the same thing. So you're doing the same task, answering the same question, or like giving the same response about something. And one thing that you can do to become a lot more efficient and start to move and to get new things done and get more momentum is to figure out what you can automate, what you can systematize, and also what you can ignore.
Yeah.
One tool that we use for that is Sweet Process. You know Sweet Process? It's just an app. It's like a desktop app. It's a web app that allows you to document work procedures. So, for instance, like let's say we have different partners that we syndicate with. So we'll have like Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, Time Magazine, Esquire, whatever. And we need to get articles written for them, and we need to have them batched out to the editors. We need to have certain responses from the editors, and we need to like sometimes there's backends we need to mess with. So what we'll do is as a team, we will make the process in Sweet Process. It allows us to like screen capture video, add little annotations in a checklist format, and just like basically make the process very easy for a new person to follow. It breaks it down into granular steps. And then when we have a new person come on the team, rather than having to train them, we just send them the link to Sweet Process that will show them how to do that thing.
Dude,
that's the thing.
Every single position in my company, first of all, I've done it myself. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Second of all, every single position in my company has at least 5 hours of video training.
Yeah.
So I give out my video trainings to like a lot of people in terms of marketing. But what people don't know is that every single position in my company, sales, biz dev, support, etc., development, has their own specific folders in Google Drive where I actually have like a video course for them.
All for internal purposes.
It's all internal, and it's so I've looked at my business and I've said I want to do everything I do, I want it to be redundant. I want to eventually cut myself out of the business or move on to higher level tasks.
Right.
And by doing this, I've built up a venerable library of video trainings, and some of them get outdated sometimes or some of them don't. But the fact of the matter is I can bring somebody on tomorrow and they will have, a very basic idea without constant input of me.
Right.
So.
Yeah, redundancy is huge in business because you don't want to have positions that are so unique or skill sets that are so unique that like if one person leaves, the business is fucked.
Yeah.
Like, only John knows how to operate our Facebook ads, so if he leaves, we can't do anything.
I suggest everybody, film what they're, if they're looking to build, internet business for me, I try to never lose sight of why I do this. And I go traveling a lot. I will work hard for a period and then I'll just travel, for a couple months or whatever, a month or whatever, a week. But I try to never lose sight. The reason I'm doing this is for freedom, and what we're doing is we're building mini systems of delivering, in your case, knowledge to people of.
But you know what I like more than money? Knowledge.
Oh God, Ty Lopez, dude, that guy is a fucking.
No, I like
that guy's
Ty.
a fucking
I'm not
joke.
gonna have you say
Ty, if
anything
you're
about
listening to
bad
this,
Ty about on this. I like Ty Lopez.
You're a fucking joke,
Ty,
bro.
I don't approve.
In your garage,
Come
your
on.
rented garage.
Oh, that's not true, Ty. I want you on my show, Ty. Ty's amazing.
Dude, he tried to take my fucking buddy out to fucking So he told my buddy Kelly that he bought him like front row. My buddy Kelly's pretty famous. He took my buddy Kelly he bought him tickets to go to a Lakers game.
Cool.
Floor seats.
Cool.
And then he was like, Kelly, I really want to network with you, man. Come on, like I bought you tickets. And then he ended up bringing some girls instead.
That sounds like a better idea,
and Kelly
honestly.
drove up here from San Diego. He's like, bro, what the hell, man?
That sounds like Ty made a good move.
No, nothing again. But he sounds like a knucklehead, but
I have nothing.
he's in Hollywood. I mean,
I have
he's right
nothing but
here.
positive things to say about Ty. I like Ty. He's always been nice to me. Ty, I'll be calling you next week. Get you on the podcast. I have nothing negative to say about Ty Lopez. TyLopez.com.
That guy's a joke.
No, I have
That
no.
guy's funny.
But
Whatever, he does well for himself.
But okay, but how do you? But okay, so like, come down from the high level though. How do you start though? What do you just? I mean, when you start, you just build a website and you're like, okay, now I'm an affiliate marketer. Like, what do you do? What if you had? What did you? How did you get? Because you said, okay, I was in Thailand. I had $7,000. Go. How do you do it? What do you do?
A lot of so I'm here in Thailand, traveling the world.
My God.
But you know what I like more than traveling the world and meeting skinny girls and drinking Dom Perignon on my yacht?
We're making an inside joke here, Cameron. Do you know what he's talking about? Yeah.
You know, it's actually I like knowledge. You know, it's not about the skinny girls and the Dom Perignon on the yacht. No, I'm making a joke.
It is. That's part of the whole.
Sorry.
But that's part of the allure.
But
of
how do you
internet
get
marketing.
started?
Yeah, like,
I'll get back on track. Dude, that guy's funny. So what I did was I started a business. I actually came back. I started some business. Fucking funny shit. I started. Well, I'm not going to go into that business. I started selling things on eBay. Let me put it at that. I started selling things that. Well,
what were you selling?
fucking A. Okay, I was selling like these. So I downloaded all of these pickup artists. Like I downloaded a lot of torrents.
Oh.
So I actually started selling. If anybody knows the mystery method.
You were reselling the mystery method?
So it retails for like it was like $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
And it was like 14 DVDs and like, or it was like a dozen DVDs and like 15 audio tapes. It was called like
I know the mystery
Brain.
method.
Yeah, so it was a huge thing and they had a big book. So I bought it from some dude on eBay for like a couple $100 and I was like, fuck. Like I think I can I was looking at it and I was like, dude, I could probably just burn this.
Yeah.
Like it was like packaged so shittily. I was like amazed that I mean mystery is a joke I hear, but you know, it was
For a while though,
as a
they
business
were
person.
really at the top.
Oh no, they were really big and this was like 2009ish when I came back from Thailand and I was like, dude, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like copy the little insert they have in the CD and I'm just going to copy all the CDs and I'm going to like print.
It's actually really smart.
Because I had a printer that could put like the cover over them because that's what they did. It was like really shoddy quality. But I figured people didn't actually want, and this is horrible. But don't do this. This is not a good business. But I started selling it on eBay. I bought a 99-cent classified ad and I posted up for like, I don't know, it was like $300 or something. And people just started buying.
Yeah.
And I would get like 1 or 2 orders a week. And I was like, and it cost me like $40 to print everything up. And I was like, dude, making like $500, bro, a week.
But in 2000, you're
like,
in college. That's like,
I'm in college and like, this was like beer money. I'm like, dude, a rack of Keystone is like $18.95.
I love your level of comparison.
No. So I was like, a rack of Keystone is $18.95, and like I only like if I can get 2 racks of Keystone a week, Like, I'm pretty cool. I'm gonna be a pretty popular guy.
Cameron's laughing.
No, you know this is true though, right?
Beer and a Keystone.
Yeah, dude. No, but that was my thing, and I'm like, dude, I can like, and I started like buying my friends. Like, I was like, dude, I got the pizza. They're like, oh, should we
I
get,
got
like,
the pizza.
I'm like, I got the pizza, bro. Like,
You're
let's
the
get two
man.
pizza. They're like, oh, let's just split one, and then we all pay $5 each. I'm like, dude, let's
We're
get two
getting
pizzas.
two.
Yeah, no, seriously, this was the level it was at.
Ballin'.
I was bawling, bro, and I was like, dude, this business thing rocks. And they're like, how are you making so much money, John? You're
Making
like,
bank, bro.
yeah, like you're not even asking us to throw in for the Keystone Lights. You're like buying pizzas.
The level of comparison.
No, it's serious. But dude, this is like, that's $2,000 a month, and like I don't know. I wasn't paying that much for rent. Like,
yeah, no.
my bills were covered.
I would have
bro.
killed for that. I would have killed for that. $2,000 a month in college was amazing.
So I started getting the bug. I went into one other business, which I'm not gonna talk about.
I'm super not going to talk about this one.
I got kicked out of school. I was making a lot of money though. I started making $10,000 a month.
That's a lot in college, man.
Oh yeah, that was serious cash.
That's a dangerous amount of money in college.
Oh, dude, I was doing pretty. I was spending the money as fast as I freaking got.
Like I and I want to let you continue because you're on a good roll, but I often can say to people, if I was making as much as I'm making now, and of course, like most of my money now goes to like staff. It's not like I'm fucking balling and throwing and like going to the strip club. But like if I was making like $50,000 a month in college, I would be on a cocaine binge and I would be like I would be the worst person ever.
I wasn't. Yeah, I definitely. I was having fun, but yeah, and it was at the end of semesters. I mean, I'll kind of I was basically telling people I would guarantee them that they would pass some of their online courses, and I was making sure they did that. So, without going into details, everything I was doing was legal, but it was looked down upon. But
it was frowned upon by
But basically, what I was doing was I was filling a serious need in the market to a very underserved audience that I found, and the $10,000 months came at the end of the semesters. But but the point is, I started learning marketing, and I started learning split testing, and from there I actually wanted to expand my services and my businesses to all these other colleges around Southern California. So I actually I started hiring people to put out flyers. I'd been split testing all of these flyers. I split tested. I remember the first thing I did was I put up flyers around my college, and I was selling my service. Nobody bought, but I was so convinced. This is what did it. I was so convinced that what I had, because I knew I could get people to pass their courses.
Yeah,
I knew it. I had it. I had conviction. There's a good word. Conviction. And I knew it was possible. There was zero doubt, zero fear in me.
You're putting
nothing.
The confidence in me.
No,
right now,
this is the level of certainty I had that I had the goods. And what I thought, so I knew I had stuff that could get people to pass their courses beyond a doubt.
Right.
There's no doubt. And I said, I have to get this to people.
Like, so you had basically the exam key, and you were like, I have the key. I'm selling the keys.
So
I'm pretty sure this is the key.
I'm not going to go into details, but basically, but the actual point here is, it's not whether or not I had the actual key. It's I had the 100% conviction and certainty that what I had would make people successful or pass the exam or whatever. And I just had to figure out how to market it. I didn't know anything about marketing. And what I did was I started by putting out flyers. I just printed out like a piece of paper. I don't know where's a piece of paper, but I printed out a piece of paper and I said, I have your stuff. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you pass your courses. Any course, I will help you pass. But it didn't work, and I was like, why? I have it. I have gold right here. Why aren't people buying? The thing is, if I had less certainty than that, I would have given up. and I would have said, okay, I have it, but I'm going to give up. But I didn't have 99% certainty. I had 100% certainty that what I had would help people. So what I did was I was like, I just need to get people to respond to me. So I said, okay, maybe instead of putting up a flyer, I'm going to tell people like, and I created like a fake email address. It was like csontutor@gmail.com. And I was like, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create these little tear tabs. So like,
like for dog walkers.
Yeah, so people could like tear a tab. Maybe that will help. And then I was like, okay, nobody's tearing it still. So maybe I'm gonna start actually like testing different headlines. And I read a little bit. I was like, how to do flyers and
how to market
flyer template. It was like that simple. And I started seeing what other people were doing, like flyer template, and they're called hanging tabs. So I was like, hanging tab flyer temp. And like once I started if I wouldn't have been looking for those things if I didn't have 100% certainty. And the 100% certainty was what kind of drove me through, and I figured out how to market to people. And what happened was I went out every morning, every Tuesday and Wednesday or Thursday, and those were the days I had early classes, and I put up new flyers. And finally one day it hit, and it went from like I'd put up 10 flyers and have like two tabs torn, or 2 or 3 tabs torn on them by like the end of the day, to literally out of like the 10 flyers I put up, every single tab was torn on every single one.
Yes.
That was the difference between a good marketing message and a bad one. Was a bad marketing message got me, 10 flyers, 3 tabs were torn. Whereas a good marketing message got me 10 flyers and all 100 tabs were torn.
So at that point you knew you had something that was
people started contacting me. That at that point, that's when I was like, I got it. I figured out how to reach. So I already had the goods, and I figured out how to reach people.
I like how you didn't just stay in your head and think, okay, well, let me just brainstorm some ways, but then not actually take action on them. Because a lot of people do that. A lot of people are like, they stay in their head for days, weeks, months, years. How can I improve this? Why don't people listen to me? Why isn't this product selling? But they don't actually test it in real life. They just like think about it. They do like thought experiments in their head. Like, what if I said this? What if I did that? But they don't actually do it. But you tried hundreds of iterations of these different.
Dude, I was crazy, man. Yeah, I was every day, and every day if it didn't work on Tuesday, I created a new iteration. I was like, okay, when Thursday morning I'm going to go out, and I had my sack and I had my tape, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe instead of using like the duct tape, I'm going to use like clear plastic tape. And then I'll every day I was testing out something new until it worked, because I had that certainty. I knew I deserved it. That's the thing. And I see a lot of people fail because I believe a lot of mindset stuff, man. I'm big into Tony Robbins and stuff, and I believe a lot of people out there, I know this sounds so corny, but they don't work hard enough at it because they don't believe they deserve it. And having people to hold you accountable, I think, is one of the best. Surrounding yourself with other successful people, like my buddy Kelly in San Diego, or my buddy Tyler out here, they're both multi-millionaires. And when you start hanging out with more successful people, you put yourself in their network. Like even your viewers listening to your podcast, you're one of their influences, and that's power. That's a good influence, and that's powerful. If you're a college guy and all you surround yourself with is people that smoke pot and drink Keystone Light, and eat pizza, you want to start surrounding yourself with people that drink Stella.
All three of those things are good in moderation.
Well, yeah, no, they're good, but you want to start surrounding yourself with people who drink Stella or drink, craft, who are like next level, bro.
Beer snob.
Wow. Yeah, I'm making a point here, but it's true,
So. No, I mean, and I think the whole experience with college, the testing, the marketing iterations, those are kind of like just the initial trials you have to go through in order to be able to like it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like for pre-med majors who want to become a doctor, organic chemistry is the class. It's like if you're not going to do this, you don't even deserve to be a doctor. If you can't pass organic chemistry, or you can't do well enough to pass, you can't be a doctor. Not because doctors need organic chemistry, but because it's like it's a limited test where all the people who aren't that serious drop off. And I think that beginning entrepreneurs also usually have experiences like that where there's like, especially in the very beginning of their careers. I was talking about this with Matt earlier when he was making the transition from, being in the studio in the back of his house to here. A lot of these challenges where it's pretty much easy to be like, all right, well, this is getting pretty difficult. I'm going to go ahead and not do this,
It's because, and yeah, I totally know what you're saying, but I think it goes back to like, how badly do you fucking want it? Like, do you, like, for me, what did it was I thought, like, I don't know. I have a tendency to project into the future a lot, and what I saw in the future, like, I knew, like, where if I didn't make this work, if I didn't make my own business work, I was gonna be a fucking tool, man. No, seriously, man.
If
And
this doesn't work, I'm going to be a tool.
I was gonna, like, I was gonna, and I actually, after I got, like, after I left college, I ended up, I ended up going to a corporate job for a little bit, and I was a tool, but, well, I was always working on my own businesses at home after college, but the bug was in me too hard to really be that super tool guy. But I knew, I could, do that job. At 24 years old, I was making 6,000 a month, which is pretty good for a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And so I could have just been like, okay, I'm gonna sit back and rest on my laurels. I got a corporate job. I'm gonna work. If I just be patient, I'm gonna work my way up the ladder.
I'll get what I deserve.
I'll go to, at 6 o'clock, I'll go to happy hour. I'll network. I'll schmooze. I'll drive my leased BMW, and go home to my, a slightly above average apartment in Studio City, and but
You're
it's
depressing me right now.
and I'm gonna try to work my way up the ladder, and I'm gonna
Kill
be
myself.
somebody else's bitch, and it's just, I'm gonna eventually meet a coworker, an assistant, or something, and or somebody at a happy hour after work, and start dating because it's convenient.
Oh
and
my God, you're killing me right now.
We'll go on trips. We'll go on trips every weekend or so when I don't have, like, a conference I have to go to, and
Cameron's laughing.
we'll go to Ojai, or we'll go to Santa Barbara every weekend or so, and I'll we'll eventually get a house in the suburbs because we can't afford, like,
Painted this thing.
No. But this is But I won't be able to, because I won't be able to afford a nice house in LA, and maybe I'll go to the club every once in a while, but it'll kind of get old because, like, we're always going to be sitting on the sidelines because I don't have enough money to, like, afford a table.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough money to, like, I can do some of these things, like go to Ojai for, like, Friday night and, like, Saturday, but we have to leave Sunday because I'm going to have to catch up on emails when I get back Sunday afternoon because, my...
Is this really a detailed future?
No, but this is true.
So cool.
So I'm always going to be sitting on the sidelines of life. And I knew, so I would kind of get, like, I'd have, like, a little money. I'd have just enough to keep me, like, somewhat happy,
but also really hungry too because it's not enough.
Exactly, and it
almost makes it worse. It almost makes it worse.
It did make
to
it
have
worse.
To have, like, just enough to where you're not in pain, but you're constantly reaching for more than you can grasp.
Yeah. And keep in mind, when I was making, like, 6 a month at 24, I had been making, like, I'd had some months where I made 10
Right.
at 21 too,
Right.
and that also like fueled my drive. I was like, because I knew it was possible.
That's another interesting thing too. I've noticed that like in terms of money mindset,
Yeah.
as soon as you
Lots of people don't know it's possible. Lots of
Yeah.
people don't have anybody in their circle of friends that
right, as soon as you know it's possible, like for me, once I started making 7 to 10, I knew that I could break 5 figures a month, and I thought to
Yeah.
myself, well, there's no reason I
Yeah.
can't do that every month. Like
Yeah.
like for now making under 10 is like it's not good.
Oh yeah.
And then
You
you
can't go back.
and you have various milestones you hit where you're like, wow, I didn't know I could make 20. I can make $20,000 a month. Well, now it's not a big deal anymore. It's
possible.
possible.
Yeah.
And so you have to gradually, and every time you hit a new milestone, it opens your mind to what's possible for the next level. And it's so funny though, because even now, like I'll think about a number and I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. But every level before that, I've said that.
Exactly.
Lots
of people don't, and lots of people, I mean, it's
At the restaurant, I was making $2,400 a month, and 3,000 would have blown my mind.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, wow, 3,000.
Right?
This was a great month. Now, if I do that, I'm dead.
That's like in college, $500 a week was like, I was like, what
the fuck?
Like pizza on me.
On me.
What's up? Keep
Anything we
racks of keys.
need.
But but yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I saw where everything was, the point is I saw where everything was going, and it freaked the heck out of me. And I knew that was an option, but I felt like that was a horrible option. I wouldn't be free. I wouldn't be living up to my potential. And that just, it scared the living shit out of me. And I had to make it happen.
So after the
pieces fill in themselves after that. Once you go that deep, and once you know what the future's going to be like, the pieces fill in this.
Yeah, I think that's powerful too. I don't like to get too
Sorry, I'm getting like
to
all
the
like
secret woo woo visualization.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, no.
I don't either.
But
yeah.
I think it's true though, and I think that
you can't will food on your fucking plate.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll watch those movies sometimes, and I'll be like, okay, well, this guy willed a parking spot to appear. I don't know if it works like that, but I do think there's like a strong component to being able to visualize where you want to be, and then but the visualization isn't what makes it happen. It's the work in between. It's like you have to visualize and then go work for it. But I find that like on a consistent basis, I'll look back at even when I first started writing things down, started like making little visualization books, which sounds weird and like
really
spiritual
what is
and
that?
whatever. Just like where you'll cut out things from magazines, or like you write down things that you want and you'll put them in notebooks. Like you ever seen like a vision board?
Yeah. They do. I've seen vision boards. Yeah.
So I do the same thing
So
in a notebook.
Yeah,
I haven't done it in a while. I probably should, but I'll look back on vision books that I had from freshman year of college. And I'm like, damn, I did all this stuff. But it's not like an active process where I'm like, okay, I'm checking off this checklist of things from my vision board. It was like I had a car in there that I wanted. I got that car. I had some like milestones in terms of money and travel I want to do. I just did that. But I wasn't like, oh, well, time to go flip through my vision book and see if I'm on track. Like, I think what happens is you put these things in your head, and then you just kind of, as long as you keep working in the right direction, you kind of just, you find yourself doing these things because you've already committed to doing that.
Yeah.
But you have to put it out there first. So I think that's really important. I think it shows how powerful it is that you went so deep on your alternate reality on your life. You're like, I'm gonna be in Ojai twice a month, and I'm sure you're gonna have 1.5 kids.
Yeah,
and they're gonna and one of them's gonna go to private school.
We're
It's
not.
too
I
expensive.
mean, my wife.
She's
gonna be. Yeah, she was gonna be like.
She's a teacher and
She's gonna be hot, but we're not gonna have like the greatest. There's gonna be like. We'll probably end up getting divorced sometime down the line. It's just like
she's gonna be hot, but then we're gonna have issues.
But I think a lot of people, I don't know if
A lot of people think that like the visualization stuff is like corny or weak, or on the flip side they'll think that like they're the only ones that are that deep into their own psyche where they're visualizing that far into the future. Mm-hmm. But a lot of us do that. A lot of us have alternate paths that we see.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely. Yeah, for me it was it. I don't know. It's just too predictable, and I think a lot of people out there are. I think the reason a lot of people are creating. Even Elon Musk, like I think all of the innovation and creativity to start your own business, you have to be a little crazy. You have to want more, and I think I think that's, it all goes back to like imagination, creativity, innovation, and just, fully expressing. I think everything at the end of the day, whether you create a great business or you create a great brand for yourself, or whether you create a great podcast or a great studio or music or whatever, it's you are bringing one of the fullest expressions of yourself out to the world. And, what I saw is just, I think we can all project in the future, especially, you know, yeah, I think there are a lot of predefined paths in society that you're supposed to take, and lots of those box you in. The traditional corporate world boxes you in, and I think there's so much more opportunity for people to be enabled.
So what do you think if you're talking to someone who's let's say you're talking to someone who is just like you, frustrated in college, and they want to take the first step. Obviously, you're like, all right, I did some stuff that I'm like, all right, well, I wouldn't necessarily do it again because it was weird, but now,
First step.
what's the first step to getting out of that like that robot mindset and breaking out? Like, if you had to talk to someone who's just getting started, what would you say they should start doing immediately?
I'd, at first I just, if I was like to sit down with like a college student and like a 19-year-old kid, and let's say he's depressed, uh, you know, um, and takes out that depression in whatever ways. He could be playing there are lots of ways people do it. They play World of Warcraft all day, or they're, they are semi-suicidal, or they, drink and party too much, or they distance themselves from friends and just focus on work or whatever. Um, I would ask them how bad they really fucking want it, because I don't, a lot of people, it's a timing thing. Do you really want this? Is this something you're serious about, that you're willing to, and why do you want it? What are you willing to sacrifice? But the first thing I'd do is I tell everybody, read The Millionaire Fast Lane, which is, it's like the 4 Hour Work Week, only I actually think The Millionaire Fast Lane is better, but or 4 Hour Work Week. But read this and see how much it resonates with you. Um, and I'd say I'd say get a job or get a mentor. Get a job in an area you want. Like, if I was a college student, I would be, and I listen to your podcast, I would be like, the way I would take that advice is I'd just like freaking PM you on Facebook, on Instagram,
Yep.
on Skype. I'd be voracious, and I'd say, I want to work for you for free. I want to be your assistant. I want to learn. I want to help. I'd be, I believe in the apprenticeship model. I'm a big believer in the apprenticeship model, and I believe it's also a very libertarian um, uh, mindset. But apprenticeship model is basically, in the olden days in England, what people would do is they would take their sons who were like
Mm-hmm.
14,
Mm-hmm.
15, when they were of age where they were, they should be their own man. And usually, what parents would even do is they'd like pay a freaking like
Yeah.
ship maker or
Yeah.
a leather worker, and they or a butcher, and they'd say, "Take my son. He's a rambunctious little brat. He's trying to get in all the girls' skirts. Just take my son, whip him into shape. I'll pay you $5,000. Just take him and teach him how to be a butcher, and he'll just like they'd pay, like literally they would pay the butcher. They'd say, teach my son. They wouldn't, not college, not shipbuilding school, not,
Yeah.
they would find somebody who knows what they know really well, and they just say, let me pay you, take my son, and just you whip him into shape, whatever. And sometimes the kids would be too rambunctious and they'd go back. But I really like the model nowadays where people choose their own teachers. They're out there, and they're, um, you know, my mom is, you know, self-publishing one of her own books, and she is working, I forget the guy's name, but she paid a guy a lot of money to she doesn't go, you know, UCLA, they don't teach all the latest stuff with like how to use the web, and Amazon to self-publish
so
your book.
crazy.
And she found some guy through like a webinar, and she said, this is the person I want to work with him to, and I think that's really cool. So if I was a kid, I'd say find that person and just be on them. Tell them, I want to do whatever I can. I will work for you for free. I just want to learn whatever, and you know, get yourself a mentor.
And tell everyone your phone number again.
What? No,
I'm just
no. I actually
I'm
turned
just
off.
kidding.
I turned off. I get so many messages a day on Skype. I actually no new people can contact me on Skype. I can only add people. It's but the thing is, like you, I would just but that's very powerful, and you learn, and
Yep.
if they can provide value to you in a way, if you said, okay, well, you know, and you just had them do bitch work, but they...
Here's the reality, though, too.
That's
like,
what I would do.
You might have turned off...
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I think finding a mentor is probably one of the most...
Work for free.
You know, it's probably one of the best things you can do, and I know I've done that, and it's gotten me to where I am now. I mean, it's gotten me... I don't know if it was the podcast we talked about this, but I talked about how...
It's a shortcut. It's
Yeah.
a shortcut to tons of trial and failure.
Oh, I've used my mentors to help me get a book deal, to help me get featured
Yeah.
in magazines, all this shit. Because when you have people who are better than you at what you want to do,
Yeah.
they can help you. I'd also say, though, that even though you've turned off some of the access to you on Skype, people who really want to get through still get through. You know, when you
true,
make it
yeah.
you make it more difficult,
true.
and what that is that's just a test to eliminate 99% of people who aren't that serious. The serious ones fucking get through. You know,
it's actually true.
you know.
Yeah.
So that being said, guys, go out and find a mentor. If you want to find a good mentor, they're going to be hard to get in contact with. That's the point. If you're good at what you do, a lot of people want your time. You know, so you have to be persistent enough in a good way and offering enough value up front where they're going to be like, what's up with this person? They've hit me up a few times. They seem to know what they're talking about. They're not asking me basic questions. They seem to have like already done a little bit of research themselves, so that they're coming to me with like some pointed questions and some specific things that they'd like to talk about. Let me see what's up with them. And eventually you will get in front of these people. You know, sometimes it takes a while, you know,
Yeah.
but it does work. And I think that's great. I think that's great advice. And I think it's life-changing advice. So cool, John. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, man.
Dude, thank you so much,
Pleasure.
man. That was cool.
If you're watching this, why aren't you subscribed? Subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to put the link to the podcast in iTunes as well. So head over and do that. And also leave a comment below with your biggest question for John, and give us some feedback on how you liked today's episode. Peace out, and cue that music that we like to run.
The music.
Music.
Are we doing a pose at the
We're
end?
gonna pose it again. We have one of those dances.